I'm playing Sims, enjoy the video. I'm playing Sims, like and comment down below.
Hello there, so we're back in The Sims 4. This time we're actually doing a speed build, which is quite exciting because it's the first time I've done one of those. So please wish me luck. I've attempted this voiceover, let's say more than once. It's really weird, I can't get used to it. So hopefully I will flash up some pictures on the screen now of kind of what I was attempting when building this house. It's heavily inspired by Japanese architecture, I think. Don't know too much about that, but that's what I was aiming for. As well as Japanese architecture, I think I was partially inspired by kind of eco-living. I think the reason for this is that I downloaded the Eco Lifestyle pack at the same time as I downloaded the Snowy Escape one. So obviously all these brand new objects, as you can see in my menu there, were flashing up and I was quite excited about it. So on the roof I actually made it kind of a grassy kind of area with like planter boxes and a little fire pit. I really tried to make it work, and you'll see later on in this video me attempting to do that, but once I came back to it I realised it wasn't going to work, so I scrapped the idea, and I just kind of made it more, I guess, plain roof-like. It isn't the traditional kind of, there isn't the traditional kind of slanted, not slanted, curved roofing. Don't know the terminology for that. I did again try and do that, like those kind of pointy roofs that you see in kind of old Japanese architecture. But if you can see there, there's those like almost tiny little corridor bits. This whole build looks a little bit like a Christmas cracker at the moment, but yeah, those corridory indentations in the build, they made it really difficult to roof it because the roof kind of, it either looked too small, like it didn't properly overhang, but then when I tried to drag it out, it just kind of all connected into one. You'll see it later on, it looks really weird, so I ended up not doing that and trying a different approach, and I actually used the half walls, but the new sizes of them. I think I used like the second size up, which ended up I think looking quite nice. I also did include a little sunroof, not a sunroof, like a little I can't remember what the name is, but like a little window in the roof. I'm sure it'll come to me when I'm editing this and I'll put it on the screen. Fingers crossed it comes to me anyway. And at the end you'll see like a kind of walkthrough of the build, and oh, it's called a skylight, that's what it's called, sorry. So I kind of tilt the camera up and it looks really cute because there's like loads of snow and stuff, but we'll get there as well. So right now I'm just trying to figure out the window situation. I really like the update that they did where you can put windows above the doors and like put them really close together. Really glad they did that. I think I pretty much exclusively stick to the Snowy Escape windows in this. Yeah, I tried to use a lot of the new items. And I don't know if you can see there, I've used some archways. I liked the idea of having it on both sides of the house, so there would be like a little archway into each kind of section of the house through the main room. But I think I needed more space in the living room, or something wasn't working basically, so I took one side of them off and I left the other side, and I kind of enclosed it with some curtains and stuff. I thought it was like a really nice little walkway into the bedroom. You'll see later on when we get to that. I think it works really nicely. And a nice little trick is you actually kind of put a wall where you want to put the curtains, because if you can see on the screen now, you can't just put curtains straight onto those beams, but if you put a wall there and then put the curtains up and then take the wall away, it works pretty well. So this is just the kitchen, like I mentioned, pretty much exclusively using the Snowy Escape items because they're really nice, really lovely colours, dark wood. Made it feel really cozy, I think, having all these dark woods. And then you've got those slots in there for putting like items and stuff. I think it's really lovely. So I put a little island here for people to like have, for Sims to eat their breakfast or whatever on. You can see there I initially put it quite close to the wall, but I think I deleted one of the counters and gave a bit more space behind there, because I thought that would be a bit claustrophobic if you were sitting down eating and then had a wall like directly behind you. And it also makes the kitchen seem a bit more cozy and kind of small. I'm not sure if it's Kayla from Sim something. Well, it's Kayla anyway, I'm pretty sure. She talks about how she kind of makes rooms smaller so that it's kind of easier to furnish them, and it makes them feel a lot cozier, and I totally 100% agree with that, because if you've got just this huge kind of expansive space, there's only so many items that you can put in there that will fit with the kind of theme you're going for. So if you just kind of take a tile off, it just feels a lot cozier and a lot more kind of homey. So I really like that tip. I'm also using I think it's the IMSP. I'll have to correct myself if I'm wrong there. It's the invisible shelf basically. I'll put a link in my bio for the person who made it. It's so handy though. So like when you try and raise items up onto like surfaces that aren't meant to be surfaces, like a fridge for example, or I don't know, like a random edge that Sims don't think you should be using, I guess, for a surface. If you use this shelf, it has loads and loads of slots in it, and you can just put items there and it just kind of works seamlessly, because I'm sure people who have built in The Sims will know when you try and raise items up, a lot of the time there's this like weird gap in between the surface and the item itself, and it is so annoying. But using that shelf thing, I think you might have been able to see, you can make it invisible, and then it just kind of works perfectly, and the item will slot in and it'll look lovely. So now we're in the bedroom, putting a couple of bits and bobs on the side tables. I think again I used the invisible shelf here. Yep, right on time. So yeah, it starts out red, and then once you're happy with the placement of everything, you can then set the colour to invisible like I just did there. It's really handy. I sound like I'm doing like a little advert for these shelves. I used a couple of kind of CC bits and bobs in the build. I'll mention it whenever we go past it. And as long as I remember, I'll try and link the things I used, just in case. But I highly rate the stuff I've been using. I find it really handy. So here's that little trick I was talking about with the curtains being placed along a beam. So yeah, you put the wall up, and then once you're happy with the placement of it, then you delete the wall. No, you don't even delete the walls, you just put a beam there instead, like that, and then it looks like you've just got the curtains going along the beam. Super nice. I was trying out there kind of different fun kind of pops of colour, but I think I decided to keep the colour scheme of this build pretty kind of neutral palette, a few kind of pinky purples in the bedroom. I thought that looked really nice and cosy. But for the most part it's kind of like neutral warm colours, and I thought that kind of added to the minimalist vibe, I guess. I struggled a lot with putting curtains on these windows in the bedroom, and again as well in the kitchen. I just didn't know what to do. I couldn't find something that was going to fit, I guess. I don't know, it just it took me ages to figure them out, and I think I can't remember if I leave those curtains there or not, but I ended up not having any curtains or blind in the kitchen, bar one, I think, on one of the walls, because I guess they just didn't look right. I tried to use the new kind of not even half, like mini curtains that came with the new pack, but I don't know if they were meant to be used for like commercial buildings. I'm not sure. Obviously I don't really have any clue, but I don't know how accurate it would be for people living in a home to have those kind of curtains. I'll have to look into it, but that was the reason I didn't put those little curtains on the windows. I did attempt it, but yeah, I took them down. So here we're trying out for the first time the platform tool. I know it's been around for ages now, but this was the first time I attempted to do it. I thought it was very cool. So I put the bath on it, and it is functional. I tried it out with my sim. I got a sim off the gallery and made sure everything worked nicely. I also put a platform kind of square in the living room, and I was going to put in fact I did put a fish tank on it, but eventually I took that away as well, because I realised it didn't kind of work for the minimalist theme that I was going for. But I did like the idea of it, and I hope at some point I could revisit that idea maybe. I'm sure I will, because it was cool. Just didn't kind of work for this build, I guess. This bathroom actually turns out to be like really cozy and really, I don't know, I would love this bathroom. You'll see it as it kind of progresses. I put loads of shelving up, and a couple of different types of plants, again CC, but I'll link those in the description. I got a bunch of like kind of hanging plants, and I think against that dark wood colour it just looks so nice. Although I can imagine in real life there'd be like a lot of spiders living in something like that, which I don't think I'd be too keen on. But for the sake of The Sims, where nothing is real, it worked out really well. So you can see here I'm using those shelves. I think I want to say they're just base game. And yeah, I put a couple of candles and bits and bobs on here. Sorry, not on here, on the shelves. I also tried to use the platform that's right next to the bath to put some candles on. Again, I ended up taking those off because I think I sized it down, and obviously with the candles, when you size them down, the flame kind of goes in a really weird position, kind of looks too big, kind of hovering above the candle itself. So that didn't work, but also I think maybe I did find one that fit, but I was worried the sim would not be able to get into the bath because of it, so I ended up taking that away. So here's the CC, one of the CC plants I used. I just love it. I think it looks so nice. It might actually be from the Kishen pack that Harry did with someone. I could be wrong. I will link it below. But I know there was a lot of like lovely stuff that came in that pack when it came out. I'm a big lover of the Harry's stuff. I think maybe, was it somebody called Felix? There was the floating flames, just thought I'd point that out. But I did use some nice candles, because I don't know, having candles in a bathroom I think is kind of really relaxing if you're going to have a nice bath. So now we've skipped to the living room. This is where I encountered the problem with one of the walls not being there, basically. So I I put one of the walls back. Basically, I couldn't find anywhere to put the TV that kind of seemed reasonable. I think I tried to put it in the corner at one point, but it just didn't. I mean, because there were doors on either side of the living room, I thought having a TV and then the sofa like right next to the door wasn't very functional. So that's why I rejigged the kind of room and wall situation, and it works quite well. And I just put a little doorway in there instead, so it kind of keeps that slightly open vibe. You can see me here now rejigging it. And to keep it symmetrical, I think I did something to the other side as well, basically. And at first I put a toilet in there, because I realised there's only one bathroom in the entire house, and that is through the main bedroom. There's only one bedroom house, actually. So I tried to add another toilet, which would have been a kind of little half bathroom, just a toilet and a sink. But because there wasn't enough space for a sink, I ended up putting a laundry, so like a tumble dryer and washing machine in there instead. And I think that made kind of good use of the space in the end. So here I am putting the little doorway archway thingy in. This is where I'm trying to put a bathroom in. It could have worked if I hadn't been fussy on wanting a sink in there. It would have probably worked as just a toilet, but I like having I like having a sink with a toilet. I don't want them having to go all the way to the kitchen, or like out into the kitchen to wash their hands. I think that's kind of maybe a little gross, I'm not sure. I just didn't want to do it, so I thought it worked well as a laundry area. So those are the only curtains I put up in the kitchen. lost my words now. The only curtains I put up in the kitchen. I revisit the pattern a couple of times. I don't remember exactly what one I end up going with. I think I tried those patterned ones. I tried orange. I think I also tried a kind of tealy turquoise colour. But we'll find out about that together, because I can't remember. Here I am trying to make a weird little weird room for the bathroom to fit in the sink, but it didn't work, so I took that away. Trying out some of the new items like the bar, but again, it was too bulky, I thought. So I think I ended up going for a desk. Also love this new item of the heated table. I could have made that work. I think I've seen a lot of people build either dipped or raised platform areas to put those tables, which I love, but I didn't include that in this. I think I was set on the shape of my Christmas cracker house, just putting a nice, relatively upmarket, or what's the word, like high range upmarket? I don't know. A fancy computer. I didn't actually have a budget for this build. I just kind of was adding and taking away and moving kind of as I saw fit. Here's the beginning of the fish tank idea. So it starts out there, and then I put it in the corner of the living room on a platform, but I sized the fish tank up. I thought it was cool, like that kind of dentist waiting room kind of idea. But I did take it out, but I did like it. Putting a column, I think, in a second where that wall is, just to kind of finish it off a bit, which I thought looked quite nice. There's a little wall separating the fridge and the laundry. Tried out some curtains, but I thought it looked a bit too much, so I took those out. Obviously adding in a laundry basket as well. So this is where the fish tank is. I'm just gonna have a sip of my tea, excuse me. yeah, I think, yeah, that's where I got the idea, and I sized it up, and I thought it was quite cool. It worked quite well, but it does kind of impede on the space in the living room. And I keep repeating myself, but yeah, that is why I took it out. Love that new rug. Very realistic for kind of homes these days to have a kind of rug like that. I hope it is faux fur, even for the sim sheep that are there. I hope it is faux. I had the idea that maybe I could have this sim, whoever lived here, be quite creative. So I put this keyboard in. I thought it matched the colour scheme of the bedroom with that kind of the brown, almost like retro keyboard swatch. But I ended up taking that out and putting an easel there instead. I think that's because I came across, it was like a stack of paintings which leant against the wall. I kind of just unearthed them while scrolling through random items, and I thought they looked really nice, and it was like a little light bulb moment, and I put them in the bedroom with an easel instead. I did try and put the keyboard in the kitchen. Sorry, I tried to put the keyboard in the kitchen, but I think it might have taken up too much space, so I took it out. I'm just talking about all the things I did put in and then took out eventually. There are a lot of nice items in this house. Love that tray. Just as I delete it, I do end up using that in the kitchen. I think it gives it a really nice kind of homey, realistic look. Love these shelves in the kitchen on these counters. Again, just making it look like it's actually lived in. And yeah, bringing that tray back, which I like. What are we doing now? Let's see. Oh, using some more CC items. I think those came from the Kishen pack. Just some little glasses. I think I might have used some bowls as well. And some CC magazines here by somebody. So they're really nice because they're individual, and you can place them and kind of tilt them on each magazine. You can basically make it a different direction from the last. I thought that was quite nice. Just putting some clutter above on this shelf here. I think clutter kind of makes these places seem a lot more cozy. And as I've mentioned many times already, that is the aim for this build, coziness. I think here I was looking for a leaning picture frame. Not sure if I managed to find one. I definitely put something there, but I can't remember what. Yeah, I did find something. Just put a couple of books in there, so there is a bookshelf. I think I also put a bookshelf in the living room as well, which is a bit bigger. Oh, right on time again. Got the bookshelf there. I think I used a different one in the end. I do like this Snowy Escape one. I think it might have been a bit bulky though for the space, so I went for a bit more of a streamlined one. Putting some clutter items on there. Coat hanger. Also, I don't know if you saw there's a shoe rack, which I think they added as a new feature in this, the most recent update. In this world, Sims will take their shoes off when entering a house. I don't think you can set that as a functionality for any house, but I hope they do patch that in at some point. So yeah, I put a shoe rack in, but I ended up taking that out because, again, it didn't look minimalist enough. And I think the coat rack fitted the space better. I don't know how realistic that is for a house that you do take your shoes off in, but I thought it looked nicer, so that's how I left it. Putting a little kind of dresser in this corridor area. I love this corridor area. It's got the really nice doors, they've got a screen on them so you can't see through. And then the curtains, it's just like a really nice little nook. I was really proud of that actually. And I think I also put the cute little cat thing. I think I changed it to the dog one. I think that's really cute as well. Here we are changing the curtains in the kitchen. Figuring out if we can put some stuff on the walls. Decided not to. I think at some point we're going to start working on the outdoors a little bit, on the back garden. For the back garden I tried to make a kind of really chill, kind of cozy space. Everything is attempting to be cozy. I used the new the outdoor fireplace that came in the new pack. And I think I don't know if it's an outdoor chair, but it looked okay for being outdoors. So I put a chair in front of the fire, and it's just like this really nice little chill area. There we are, changing the bookshelf. It fits a little bit better in that space, I think, because the curtains were kind of in the way of the original bookshelf which we had there. So here we are, making the space outside, using some terrain paint. I always find with the stone terrain paints, it's kind of hard to make it look realistic, especially when you've got the kind of blended, like low opacity one. So that's why I added the rocks all the way around the outside. I do finish it off, don't worry, I just kind of got sidetracked. I noticed that when watching this back, when kind of editing the initial footage, I just jump around the house as I please. I don't try and finish one room first, I just kind of dot around all over the place. So I'm really sorry if that's like giving people motion sickness. Wasn't my intention. Putting some nice little bushes out there, making it a little bit rocky. This, the rock outline for the terrain paint, as it were, it is pretty time consuming, but I think it's worth it, especially if you use like different rocks next to each other, so I guess it looks a bit organic. I know they would probably be man-placed, man-made. Not sure what the term for that would be. They wouldn't have been like naturally occurring, I don't think, but they look a bit more kind of free-flowing if you size down the rocks and kind of put them in different orders and use some big ones every so often. I've got this really nice CC piano which I did try and add in. I'll also leave the link for that down below if I can remember to. It's such a nice piece, but I think the bookshelf seemed more fitting in this build. Got a little bike in there from university. I didn't limit myself with any of the packs, as you can probably see. Just kind of went for it. I thought for my first speed build I'm not going to give myself any limitations. I might try that once I do a few more, but for the time being it's kind of nice just using whatever you like. I haven't put it up on the gallery or anything, so I think we're safe there. So holding now down it's either Control or Alt. I'm sure everybody knows this, but it'll allow you to free place the rocks, and obviously with the bb.move objects on cheat you can overlap objects as much as you like, which is really handy. For ages I didn't know about that cheat, for I think probably years even, and then I must have just started watching some of the YouTube videos a few years ago and somebody talked about it and I was like, oh my god, brainwave, I can't believe I wasn't doing this before. So I think now using some trees, I don't know if it's Deligracy who talks about using trees which fit into the kind of surrounding area, or like they match the surrounding trees, something like that, and it'll make your kind of plot of land fit in with its surroundings a lot better. Really liked that advice, so I I'm pretty sure I used the same or similar trees to the rest of the world, well, in this little area at least. So I don't know if you saw there, that was where I was attempting to do the kind of traditional Japanese slanted, curved roof, but they kind of merged into themselves and it looked all weird. So then I decided to do this flat roof with the half wall trim, and here is where I'm adding the skylight in. I do like the grassy roof. I think if I wasn't so dead set about having it kind of look a bit more traditional, I think I would have left it, but eventually I realised it just looked a little bit weird, so I did take it away. But I do like it, and there was like a little ladder there you can see going onto the roof. I took it all away. Now just moving the lights, because obviously you don't want a light hanging from a skylight, it's not going to work. Obviously I made sure the wall on the inside of the skylight matched the exterior, so it wasn't just like this gross white unpainted bit. I don't know if you can see, I wish that you could kind of paint ceilings. I think it's James who always, I'm just talking about all the YouTubers I watch now. James Turner talks about, oh look, here we are, testing everything out. James talks about wishing you could paint the ceilings. Probably loads of other people do as well. But I totally agree, I think it would make things a lot nicer and kind of flow a lot nicer with painting the ceilings. But oh well. Now I'm in live mode. I've downloaded a sim from the gallery and I'm just kind of changing all the colours of the lights, dimming them a bit. I find if you kind of dim the lights and put a bit of a warm tone to them, I think I didn't realise that letterbox was there for ages, just randomly in the living room, but I did see it eventually. If you kind of warm up the tone of the lights and lower the opacity, it kind of makes the area, the room in the house, seem a kind of a lot dimmer and therefore a bit more cozy, which I really like doing. I think I do it a lot in my own builds. I guess this is one of my own builds and I did it. So that's, I guess, a little tip for making things seem quite cozy. Again, just adding these rocks to finish the edges of the terrain paint. I did leave the edge blurred because I thought it would be a bit annoying to, like, in real life, to walk over rocks every time you were walking into your house. So I did take that away. But I just don't like how it looks when it's blended, but there wasn't really too much I could do about it. It was me trying to make it look a bit better. It's kind of the best I could do, really. And it is really annoying how the path doesn't lead up to the kind of patch in front of the house. On both sides it doesn't match up, which is super annoying, but oh well. Just adding a bit of obligatory kind of muddiness around the build. A couple more rocks. And because it was fall, all of the leaves had fallen off the trees. I sound like I'm American. Because it was autumn, all of the leaves had fallen off the tree. Here I am trying to make a kind of a little fire pit area. I think I put it in earlier, but then I'm changing all the seating and stuff here. I thought maybe the kind of V sofa would be cool. I don't know what pack this grill thing came from, this barbecue thing, but I really like it. I don't know if I've ever seen it before. I don't know if it's new or if I've just been like blind to it. But it's adorable. It's really cute. So I'm just seeing if this grill works, and I think, yeah, I set the place on fire, which wasn't ideal. But we'll ignore that. This was all kind of probably a bit, is the word futile? because I end up taking all of this away anyway. But I thought I'd leave it in just to kind of show the process of building. I don't know. I think in a second I also add a little table, because I saw there she put all her food on the floor, and that is super annoying when Sims do that. I was like, oh, she definitely needs a table or something to put stuff on. And then I put a chair with a table, and I just realised it was like really separate. Like the fire pit looked kind of too separate from the table area. It just looked a bit kind of weird. So I, as I've mentioned before, took it all away, deleted it all. Here's the table. I'm just gonna have another sip of my tea. Yeah, I realised a log wouldn't naturally form on top of a roof. Like the bottom bit of the tree. What was it called? I can't remember. It kind of looked a bit odd. So I removed that pretty quickly. Just changing out tables. Seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. I did like the candles on the roof. I'm a sucker for candles. I'm a sucker for coziness. I've got a really nice Christmassy candle. It's actually not burning right this second, because I didn't want to waste it while I couldn't see it, because it's like in an area behind me in my house. My flat, I should say, not a house. But it smells lovely when I light it. And I think now we're going back to the interior of the house, changing that little thing to a dog. This is where I deleted all of the kind of roof sitting space, attempting to put an actual roof on top of it again. Just couldn't get it to work. So yeah, I put some wood on top of it. I wish that wooden flooring wasn't so shiny. I think that's super strange. I'd love just a kind of matte version of it, because when you move the camera it all kind of goes a bit shiny and weird. This was where I tried to put some blinds in the kitchen. I realised sizing down those blinds from Snowy Escape, the shadow doesn't change size. So it's a bit like a mirror, where the reflective part of the mirror, when you size it down in The Sims, that stays the same size, which is like weird, but I guess I get it because it's always happened. But with base game blinds here, you can see I sized it down and the shadow sized down with it, but then the new Snowy Escape ones didn't, which I found very odd, and I don't know why that was. But yeah, I struggled with these curtains and blinds in the kitchen, so I decided not to. Just kind of, it took up the space too much. Oh, I love that, is it hot pot, I want to say? That new item is really lovely. So I definitely made sure to put that in there. Oh, this is where is it? No, I think I'd already used it by that point. I got excited there. Possibly here is where I take the fish tank away. Yeah, I realised it didn't look right. I attempted to kind of make the walls glass by like putting a window in there, so then it might have looked a bit more streamlined, like straight up from the floor. But then the platform got in the way of the window, and you can kind of see there, you can see through the platform. I guess it's just like the weird mechanics of how they've put it into the game. Not weird mechanics, like it works, but you obviously just can't put a window there. Because in my head I was thinking it would just be a blank block or whatever, but it didn't work, so I decided to not have it. And I think it actually looks a lot nicer, like the living room space, it looks a lot more clear and minimalist. I think here I also wanted to use that little edge of the sofa to put some items on, because I thought, well, in my house I find any surface I can and I just put stuff on it. I probably have too much stuff where I live, but we're not going to go there. So I attempted to put some bits and bobs on that sofa edge, but it looked a bit too cluttered, so I took it away. And also, when I came back into the game, I realised all those magazines and the toothbrush holder and stuff had been deleted. I don't know why that is, so I was just making sure I put them back because I thought they were a nice little touch. These cute little doll things, didn't manage to see the name of it there, but they're really cute. Here we are putting some stuff on the sofa. So that is the original Machino magazine pile, which the CC, I guess, was made from, I would assume. I did like that notebook. I tried to merge those two together. I did like how that looked, but I guess not enough to keep it because I've taken it out. Cluttering up the bookshelf, putting some CC towels in the bathroom, and some lighting on the outside. I think I also changed the colour of that at some point. I hope I do. Trying to neaten up the edge of this again. Adding the same ones around the back. Oh, I also tried to put some skylights in the bedroom and the kitchen at this point, but I thought it didn't really look right. So I took that off, seeing if I can find something to make the roof look a bit more interesting. Couldn't come to a conclusion about finding anything, so I left that. I did here put up some nice vines and stuff. I think they're from the vampire pack, whatever it's called. I put this stuff on both sides of the house, and then after a while I realised when you move the when the walls go down when you're playing the game, like in live mode, the vines stay up, so they really get in the way of like seeing inside the house. So I decided to just leave one side or one part of the house have the vines, even though I would have liked it kind of all the way around, but it just ruins it when you're playing and you can't see in properly. I find it really annoying. So I just left it on one little area. I also thought, for realism, I think the vines would only be in one section of the house, because I guess that's in real life where like the dampness grows and like there's less there's less light that gets to it. So yeah, I also took it off for that reason as well. There we are, just realising, oh, it doesn't work. I left it on the front because I thought that was the nicest place for it to be. And here is the final look at the house. It had started snowing when I decided to film this part of the walkthrough. Here we've got our sim watching TV in the lovely cosy space. If you look up at the skylight, you can see the snow falling. Very cosy, lovely room. The first time I tried to film this, the bath disappeared, so I had to cut in a little clip from later on. That's why there was a weird cut there, or a fade rather. We've got the nice kitchen, got our sim cooking her hot pot, and then outside in the snow we've got our little fireplace. And on that note, that is the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching if you did. We've got our sim here eating her noodles very messily.